Welcome everyone to the Boss Key Podcast, episode 24, the newest episode, I guess you could say, with our good friend who is back.
Yes.
Welcome, Jesse, my co-host, my regular co-host. How you been, man? How you been?
Oh, my goodness. It is so good to be back and feeling a heck of a lot better right now. For those who haven't seen it on the tweet or anything, I'm recovering myself from good old Omicron and COVID. None of us are immune to it or anything, so it just happened that I started my 2022 off that way. Great. But I've had a lot of support. I'm on the healing path. Definitely been feeling okay now. Um, but right now I am feeling a lot better, and I am so glad to be back because I missed you, Big Josh, and I miss talking to the fans, and I miss talking to everybody. How have you been, man?
I've been good. I've been good, man. It's been actually like a month since we recorded. We're
Mm-hmm.
recording. We normally record on the weekends, like on a Saturday, Sunday, and this is on a Tuesday of the week because I do get married this week. So by the time you'll be hearing
Yeah.
this, by the time you guys will be hearing this, I'll be a married man with Lady Quack, as we've given her that nickname thanks to Sixers Octavian
There
on
you
Twitter.
go.
But
Lady Quack.
Lady
And
Quack,
now it's about to be Mrs. Quack.
yes.
Mrs. Quack.
So we had a good Christmas and New Year's. Spent it with the family. Inside as what trying to distance ourselves from everything outside right now because of, like you said,
Ooh,
Omicron, and or no
yeah.
one no one is immune, whether you've been boosted or not,
No.
or
No. It's transmissible. I thought I was doing every single safety precaution possible. I wore a mask everywhere. Just like I wore a mask everywhere. Took all the precautionary methods that I could. Tried to avoid it, but they just say this one's like the easiest one to catch compared to the others, and right now the cases are sky high from what you've seen in the news and everything. So I believe it, and yeah, it's just I had a great Christmas and a great New Year's celebration. Still,
yeah.
it was just right after when 2020 when 2022 sort of again. It was a Sunday morning of the body chills, and when I don't want to go to the gym, now you know something is wrong. Like that's at least how I sometimes gauge things. When I don't want to go, if I'm affected by something, that's not a good sign usually. Not a great sign. So um on the recovery path right now. Thank you for all the lovely tweets and for people messaging, and love all of you. Josh, thank you so much for your messages and kind words as well. Uh, Great people, and I can't wait to now, after kicking the hump here, continue 2022 on a good note. Let's
Yes.
continue on, make 2022 like a boss.
Like a boss. Um, I
There
know
you
you.
go.
I know you've been at home recovering, but pretty sure that's giving you some time to play something. Now that you don't have to, go out
Are
and
you
stuff.
are you kidding me? Oh my God!
What have you been playing? What have you
Video
been
games
playing?
have been video games are a savior right now the entire time. Oh my goodness, gaming is just all over. Fortunately, at this time, I was quarantined in my apartment now, so now I
Yes.
have access to a living room and a bedroom at this time. My goodness, I've been switching around between my PC and my Xbox Series X with a little Switch thrown in there, sprinkled in. Oh, and PS4, I actually downloaded some games as well on that. Persona 5 Strikers I downloaded because it was free for this month.
Oh
It was
yeah.
part of the PS Plus. Great. But official games that I've actually been playing, I've actually added two games to my completed bucket list. Guess what? I'm starting off on a high note.
What'd you
I
complete,
compl-
man?
I completed my RE3 remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, which
Oh,
was
nice.
awesome.
Loved it.
I played that on my PC. I played that on the PC itself, and I also completed Super Mario 3D World. Now, I know you're not my biggest Mario fan, but I loved it. I love that game for its simplicity. It is a version of Mario that was fantastic to me. Um, I also played a tiny bit of Blue Dragon. I
Oh.
jumped into the JRPGs from your recommendation and all the fans' recommendations
Hmm.
and Twitter recommendations. And yes, bringing back the turn base was awesome, especially still like right in the beginning when you're still captured on the ship and then all of a sudden you swallow an orb from an ominous force telling you to do it. And then guess what happens when I swallow the orb? I get a huge beast behind me. So instead of doing two to three damage per robot, it turns to a fist. Wow! Like I was like, whoa! Should have swallowed this pill earlier. You should have done this. And then Land Shark. I just thought that was funny at the beginning. Land Shark. It's a robot. It's I've loved that. I actually dabbled into my Silent Hill 2 as well. Yes, obviously, guys, when you're quarantined, you have a lot of time to flip around to a bunch of games.
Yeah.
And the last one that I recently was playing is an old school first person shooter on my PC called Blood.
Okay.
Very awesome. It came out in the same era as like Duke Nukem 3D. Came really highly recommended from YouTube, and my God, it's about you that your cult betrays you, and you are playing to get revenge. To get revenge, it looks like from what I've played so far, and it has like zombies and it has zombies. It has cultist guys with shotguns and really reminiscent of old school. I'm a really huge fan of retro first-person shooters. Things have happened from back then, especially when they get that makeover, or when they get the 2021 or 2020s, when they get the redoings, like helping with aim and weapon wheels and things like that. So I love a sucker for those. I love those. I will always grab one when I see one. And this is the first time in a game I actually had to lower the difficulty because it's
What?
too hard on the middle and above. Like the hit scanners will kill you in a second, man. It was annoying. And it was so annoying. I actually had to lower it to actually make it enjoyable. But that's what I've been playing since recovering. I know it's a lot, guys, because when you stuck at home, you got to do
Yeah.
something besides eat and sleep and maybe a little Netflix in there, like a little HBO Max. But did I go back into a game all the time? Yeah. And I know my fans are gonna be like, oh, of course. Yes, I try to get the achievements on Doom Eternal a little bit on my Xbox Series X. But guess what? Now I play it in 4K, 60 frame per second. So take that. I know that's a huge list, but hey, that's what I've
That's a
been
good
doing.
list. That's a solid
That's a,
list.
that's the beginning. This is the beginning list. Big Josh, what have you been playing? I know you weren't quarantined, so what have you been playing?
I actually have been pushing through finishing games. That's one of our New Year's resolution to
Yes.
try to finish games. So I did finish The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt again, but I did it on the Switch this time, and I completed the
Nice.
Blood and Wine DLC. Loved it. I
Ooh.
ended up putting like
Okay.
70 plus hours in the game that I checked. Um,
I have that on my Series X, so that's on my list. I bought it when it was on sale.
4K 60 and
Yep.
on the Series X, but loved it. It's still good. I mean, it's like 300p and 28 frames per second at best on the
Ooh.
Switch, but uh, it it played very well for me on the tiny screen on the OLED. So I
Mm.
love that. And then I'm almost done with Mass Effect 3. I know I've been talking it since it came
Nice.
out, but it's now on Game Pass, so you'll be able to
Yes.
enjoy. I highly recommend. I mean, I didn't play the
Legendary
original one.
edition.
I didn't play the original one, but this one is really good, especially for a beginner or like a first timer. So
Yes.
I'm almost finished with Mass Effect 3. I would say I'm, you know, it seems like I'm at least halfway through.
I
Um,
was really happy when I saw that news that the Legendary Edition was coming out
yes.
on the Game Pass. I was like, wow, really? I had to make sure it wasn't a typo.
Yeah,
I
so
gotta make sure it
I'm
wasn't
almost
that.
done with that. That's what I'm playing. And then I know my next focus is to finally play or finish, complete through Lost Odyssey, the other JRPG that I've mentioned before, which is on
Yeah.
Xbox. So I'll be playing through Lost Odyssey. Um,
Sweet.
trying to complete that after Mass Effect 3. I'm trying to focus here,
Yes.
and
Focus.
complete game by game and game. So Mass Effect 3 should be completed. I would say maybe in the next 2 weeks. Just like I said, wedding, so I won't even be playing much this week. But Mass Effect 3 is I'm enjoying it, man. Like I'm surprised that I didn't get to this sooner, just from all the hype, and it's that great of a trilogy. Like it's getting up there now
Wow.
to like my breaking like possibly top five favorite games of all time for me.
Whoa, that's a big
Yeah.
claim, man.
So
That's
it
that's a big
it's
one.
really good. It's really good.
Dang.
I'm really stoked for this, and yeah. So those are the games that I've been playing, or finished playing. Of course, with Halo Infinite,
Yeah.
always supplementing my multiplayer needs, since I've only
Yep.
been talking about single player.
Like for Mass Effect, just three is breaking into your top games, like the top five games, or the whole collection.
So it's kind of weird, because I feel like this collection, it deserves to be one game in a way,
Okay.
because it's so intrinsically tied to each other, each
Hmm.
game, especially because you can take your save file, your character, all your choices, and they carry over to all the way to the third. I'm seeing stuff that I made choices in the beginning of Mass Effect 1, and I'm seeing it unfold in Mass Effect 3. Same thing with choices that I made in Mass Effect 2 is now being transferred over to Mass Effect 3. Like, oh, I remember doing that, and it's
Mm.
really good. So, I would say Mass Effect for right now. If I were to
Mm.
place them, if I were to actually rate them against each other, I would say Mass Effect 3 is number one, with Mass
Okay.
Effect 2 a close second, and then Mass Effect 1 as the third choice. But
Ah.
that's not even
Uh,
given like a negative to Mass Effect 1, because it brought me to continue to the entire trilogy. Um,
yeah, and you have to start from somewhere. Like it's not that one of any game is a bad game. It's just the sequel should be doing better
yeah.
than worse, or staying the same. But yeah, it's not that it's worse. Even no matter what we're talking about, like whenever we're saying, "Oh, this one's better than this or that," like no, there always is a preference, or one's better than the other. It's not like a super criticism on it. It's just we prefer this one versus this versus this.
Yeah, and
Now
it.
I'll tell you one reason. Well, one game where the second one did suck. Devil May Cry 1 was amazing, and then
Oh
Devil May Cry
yeah.
2 came out. Oh, oh my
What
god,
is
Devil
that?
May Cry. What is this? Why is the camera so zoomed out on Dante? Why am I like 10 miles away from
Why am
him?
I fighting an attack helicopter poisoned or something like zombified helicopter? I forgot what they named it, but demon
And
helicopter. I don't know what it was, but
why is Dante so like not as cool as he was
yeah,
in one? So more emo than he normally is emo. Like, see, that's the only time where I would say like, okay, the second one was bad, like something like that. But no, but now I'm stoked to try Mass Effect because
play
you're
Mass
talking
Effect.
about Mass Effect.
Play
Yes, there you go.
after you beat Blue Dragon.
Okay, Blue Dragon first. I will be
Yes,
Blue Dragon first because
because
I.
yeah, I'm gonna be doing the opposite. Once I beat Mass Effect, I'm gonna be going to Lost Odyssey, my
There you
JRPG.
go. Now,
Um,
now I'm gonna listen to the fans and yourself as well. Going to the end of the game means reaching the end credits.
oh,
I'm not
you
gonna.
got that a lot then. Like
I did get that a lot. Yeah, reaching the end credits counts as completing or no, finishing a game.
finishing the game.
So
Yeah,
of course, if you want to be the achievement hunter and get every achievement or every collectible, you could do that too if you want. But
yeah,
don't have to do that if you want to just say finish a game. Just finish a game. Just finish, make it to the end credits, and boom, you're set.
yeah.
So I'm taking everyone's opinion on that. That sounds good to me.
But definitely, the Mass Effect trilogy is, at least for right now, my favorite trilogy in gaming. Um,
Nice.
and that speaks highly, given Metal Gear Solid fan. But that's a different
Right?
story because there's like 6, 8 different games. But speaking about the best, this episode
Yeah.
that you are back,
Yes.
and 2021 is now behind us. We
Over.
we want to look back one more time and then just discuss what were the best games that we played in 2021. What were our top gaming memories for the year? And I'll throw it to you first, Jesse. What and this is no specific order. We're not gonna do here's my top number five. Here's my number four. Just in general, what is one of the first games you want to mention that you played that was just over everything else in 2021?
So, as far as like the games that were over everything in 2021, one of the games that I really, really enjoyed from the get go, uh, Halo Infinite already from the start, because that's the one we've all been waiting for. As a past Halo fan, I was waiting for it. I won't lie that I haven't completed the campaign. I started the campaign as well while I was quarantined.
Hmm.
Um, I got everything started from the beginning, and I got to use the grappling hook a little bit more because I actually have it with me, like on my person. Um, but it felt so good to be back on Halo for the multiplayer aspect alone. Even though it started off as a free to play, free to play, and in a world of Call of Duties and Battlefields and Valorant and Fortnite and a lot of the games that are now from what we consider like today's times, 2017 and up. A lot of games started being similar. Everyone and their mother was playing Call of Duty Warzone. That's the one every Twitch streamer and every person's playing. How fast did people switch over to Halo when it got released?
Yeah.
How fast you can correct me if I'm wrong here. It like not destroyed, but like it kind of made sales of Call of Duty Vanguard and Battlefield 2042 not as great.
Yeah.
Um, Halo is just back as this like one of the supreme kings of multiplayer shooters from my childhood. When we had our discussions back then about the Xbox days and our
Yeah.
Halo days, LAN parties. No LAN parties right now, but Halo Infinite itself, by the end of 2021, regardless of what you think about the microtransactions and cat ears and, and things that you can get in Halo, my God, is it still a solid shooting experience most of the time. I played it both on PC and on the Xbox Series X, and it was something that I enjoyed jumping into multiplayer the moment I was able to get right on it.
Yeah, I loved Halo Infinite. That's my game of the year in general. Uh, like you said, it's back. The multiplayer is solid. Besides the
Yeah.
whole microtransaction that they can fix down the road, and some other annoyances that I've had, um, the gameplay itself, which is the hardest thing to nail,
Mhm.
is there. It's solid. Like it,
Mhm.
I have no complaints on the gameplay itself. Um,
Yeah.
the campaign was pretty solid. I've made a list before online about my favorite Halo campaigns. It doesn't crack the top three for me. It's
Still
not.
Reach, right?
It's still Reach.
Still Reach.
Reach is there, followed by the original Halo, and then Halo 3. But even then, it did everything that I wanted for Halo, at least to come back. It was one of those where I loved Halo 4 campaign, but I hated where they were going with Halo 5, and Halo Infinite was my biggest worry because of that. But I'm glad where they took the story. I finished it within, I think, the week that it came out, and
Nice.
um, a lot of good stuff came out of it. Still some stuff that I would want to see change or added on later on, if they can update with DLC or anything like that to expand the world. But overall, a solid campaign, also a solid multiplayer that still has me coming back. I did the recent the what's it called, the Tenra event,
Oh
with the
man, the,
samurais and stuff like that. I still got everything all in one day,
mm,
the for the Tenra event, and it's just a solid. It keeps me coming back to the game, and that's where I think a game does something. If a game does that, where you still think about it, or you're still looking stuff up, and you want to keep playing, that's game of the year material for me. And Halo Infinite is my game of the year for 2021. It was super solid. Can't complain about anything about the campaign or multiplayer and gameplay and stuff
nah.
like that, except for the microtransactions. Like I said, but that's nitpicking. I still have
Yeah.
not paid for anything
Same
except for
here.
the
They
except for
haven't
the
bought
battle
nothing.
pass. Except for the battle pass, everything else I pass. I'm not gonna spend $20
So you don't want cat
Iron Man.
ears?
I'm good.
you don't you don't
Uh,
want it, man. That's like the best cosmetic ever. I see people left and right with
they could do
it.
they could buy if they like. I mean that's
No,
the
no.
point of of
I
this.
know.
But for me, at least for me, there hasn't been something yet to get me. I was very close with the Iron Man, but I don't. $15 was a bit too steep. There was another one that they had where you're running along and it's like the cherry blossom petals are like following you and stuff like that. And I'm like, still
Uh,
no, I'm good. I'm good. Uh,
that's a really hard sell for me too. I'm not a big cosmetic guy, like extra buy cosmetic guy. If I earn it, yeah, I'll do it.
yeah, I'd rather earn it, but
But to buy, oh man,
and
that's
don't get me wrong, I've bought
yeah,
microtransaction,
hmm
cosmetics. Destiny 2,
yeah,
I get that with like the gun, the gun
yeah.
cosmetics. I want my, there was a recent Destiny 2 event that celebrated 30 years of Bungie,
Uh-huh.
and they had one of the hand cannons look like the Needler. Like it was, yeah, exactly. It was
Ooh.
like pink
Oh.
neon colors on the
Okay.
gun, and I'm like, okay, yeah,
Okay.
bye. I got that,
Everybody,
but
everybody has a price. There's something that we want.
but
Dang.
for me, like for Halo, it hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
I think also, I don't know, like I'm pretty sure there'll be something that they'll show off or they'll announce for that week, and I'm gonna be like, that's an instant buy. I have to get that, something like that. But right now, it's not there for me. It's just not there for me for the microtransactions.
Okay. For sure. I mean, yeah. Now I'm gonna have to see this. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen this Iron Man look that you were talking about. It's Iron Man colors or an Iron Man look?
Colors. So it was like red,
Oh, go,
hot rod red and yellow, and I
yeah.
think they did it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh. How much is it again?
I think it was $15 to be honest. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was
Oh,
like $15 or $20, and I was
oh, you
like,
can't.
that's a little rich for my blood.
Oh my God, there was another sick color too that I saw, but it's behind a paywall. It's like it's the specific like black with gold. I was like, oh, and of course it was from one of like those sponsored ones. It was like one from like a game, it was either
Esport.
like a game team or an esport or a company, and it's that color. I was like, of course, the sickest color of all, the best is like, can I play 700 hours? Can I do something to earn it? I was like, no. Yeah, like, but that's gaming in the 2020s. It's gonna be a part of natural order of things. Watch this. Me being a big fighting game fan, the next games that come out, like Mortal Kombat 12 or Street Fighter 6, they already do this, but yeah, they already do the microtransaction of colors and everything, and now there's gonna be like specific costumes. But yeah, it's just accepted. Well, it started since like say like 2016 and up, but Yeah, it's part of the norm, but I still wholeheartedly agree as a game itself, minus microtransactions, Halo was uh, a top game that came out. What's another top game you could think of right now, man, that you
Uh,
loved?
the another
2021.
another game that had no microtransactions that is part of my game of the year list is um, Metroid Dread. Uh,
Yes, no microtransactions there, baby. It's a
no,
single player all the way through.
no microtransactions. The cosmetics that you earn, you can actually earn in the game, and you don't
Mhm.
buy her suits. You earn them, and they actually
Yeah.
have upgrades and changes to the gameplay. No, Metroid
Um,
Dread, one of my favorite games. Instantly loved it when I played it.
oh
Um,
yeah.
it was a return to form for Metroid, and I hope the sales were good. I generally try to keep away from sales numbers and stuff like that, but for special cases like Metroid Dread, I hope it's one of those that it was actually successful to the point where Nintendo goes, yeah, people do want 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania games still. Let's make more Metroids, or let's make more games in this genre. And
Oh,
I loved it, man. The music I think was the only negative I can think of, because I can't think of an iconic, I guess, sound or music that was unique
yeah.
to Dread.
Hmm.
Besides, and we've talked about music and sound effects in the show and how much we love that, and it's part of the
Yeah,
experience. But
most definitely.
Dread didn't have that, and that was the only negative I can think of, because everything else was super solid. The gameplay, the shooting, the exploration, the boss battles were actually difficult this time.
Hmm.
Just
And
super
even like
difficult.
the whole sneaking ability you have to do in the beginning parts of the game too was amazing as well. And yeah, it was, or it could be an instant death location or instant death happening if you don't do the right thing. But like it added a sense of it's in the name of the game, dread,
Yeah,
into the last time they did something like that was in Metroid Fusion when you had to hide from the SAX, because the SAX was like the Samus Aran X was the most powerful one at the time until you level work your way up.
that was so stress inducing back in Fusion with the SAX, and like even when there was no music and you could just hear the footsteps of the SAX walking like very slowly, just scanning the stuff, and you're just having
Good.
to like, be in a crawl space, just waiting for her to leave. But Dread, definitely one of my favorite games of this year. It was just so good. I love the art style, the graphics,
Mm.
especially on the OLED. How the dark areas really popped. Um,
Yeah,
really loved the
and
game.
I love the again going back to the pursuit areas when the spotlights are looking around for you and everything, and you
Yes.
do your best to avoid everything in regards to not getting spotted. It's like, and then like you see the light coming right at you, you barely slide under, and then sometimes I messed up my control and I didn't slide under,
Oh.
and then it goes into the like the alerted phase when they're now gonna come at you. It's like,
Mm.
you just make it. I'm
Hurry
just gonna
up! Where's the door? Where's
hurry,
the door?
hurry.
Where's the
I know.
door?
Hurry. Can I get out? Ooh, good. And then you phase through the safe door to get back into the regular world when you're not in their dimensional area right there. And people have been begging for a new classic style Metroid
Yeah.
to come out. Not another. Well, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be released at some point. Don't know when, but it is coming out. They didn't want another Federation Force. They didn't want another remake or another remaster. They wanted a new one. Many YouTubers and many people have been begging for it, and they got one this year, 2021. And actually, to answer your question, I think it did bring up Samus's popularity.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly think it did. People are going to be more into Samus now than they were before.
Yeah. Um, what do you have
Hmm.
as another you know spotlight for 2021?
Speaking of going to Nintendo characters, since we just did Nintendo characters, this is actually it's not a new game, but it came out in a re-release. Um, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Awesome,
Um,
Mario.
Yes, it's a
I'm
Mario
just kidding,
game.
man.
All
I'm just kidding, man.
right? Hey, man. Sometimes some of us like Mario's, and we like the plumber. Okay, I grew up with the man.
I
He's a
did
mini
it.
mentor. He's so me. Come on, man. The
All
reason
right.
I liked it a lot, the reason I liked it a lot, I really enjoyed this game because I got to play it. I never owned a Wii U. Um, I missed that boat. From what people have talked about before, the Wii U had a lot of titles,
Yeah, it did.
but unfortunately, the console it didn't suck, but the sales sucked.
Hmm.
That's the problem. No one bought it because everyone was confused. Is this like an expansion to the Wii? But I already have the Wii. And other people are like, what tablet, touchscreen? No, like I don't know. Like for whatever reason, it did not sell well. So like Smash 4, they call it Smash 4, but it's basically the Wii U version of Smash.
Yeah.
Smash 4, a Wind Waker re-release that was amazing as well.
Twilight
No,
Princess.
excuse me, Twilight Princess was also re-released. Was it? Yes, it was.
Yeah, there was an
Um,
HD Twilight Princess
there
and
was an
Wind
HD
Waker.
Twilight Princess. There was a Wind Waker. I remember the Wind Waker one was a top one because they did some like quality of life advancements too involved with the sailing.
Hmm.
Um, but the Switch, thank goodness, like Bayonetta 2 and this Mario game, were able to be re-released, and um, it is great now. If you've already played the Wii U version, um, they say I never did before, so I'm loving it from beginning to end. Uh, Simplistic, like Mario style adventure, 3D combined with 2D, can be done with up to 4 players. But they say I've never done the 4 player version, but I hear the 4 player version is hectic because trying to get everyone in line to do what you want is gonna be difficult. So they usually recommend 1 or 2 players, but you still could with 4. So if you're with family members and stuff, yes, play with all 4. Like play with everyone wants to play more. Um, but it is a game that got re-released in 2021 that I was able to finally experience, and I owned it for my for the Switch. And I had a blast controlling the different characters of Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad. And Rosalina gets unlocked later, who actually is the best character in the game because she literally has a double jump. So it's like once you have her, it's over. Like you play with Mario the whole way, and then when you unlock Rosalina, you play Rosalina. Um, Enjoyed the music because it had big band renditions of a lot of classic tunes and current tunes, and man, that is beautiful to my ears all the way through. And on my huge 65-inch TV now, it looked beautiful the whole way through. I was having a blast, and I'm actually in the middle of the Bowser's Fury, which is it's an additional game with it. So they didn't want to just give you 3D World. They wanted to also give you Bowser's Fury, which is it's an additional game where it's one big gigantic overworld level. Like everything's connected. You don't pick levels or anything. You're just playing like a whole game through.
Yeah.
And you're collecting. You're actually taking on Bowser again, but you've probably seen the pictures and stuff where he's like a gigantic ooze covered, like demon looking Bowser, like the worst version of him. And Baby Bowser actually wants Bowser to come back to normal because now this is way too Bowser for Bowser. this is too. This is one of those things where Bowser's too Bowser here. So we don't want him that. We don't want him that bad. We just want him marginally bad. And it's funny because in the beginning cutscene, you have Mario going like, "I'm gonna help my rival." I don't know. Like you see the concern in his face. I was like, "Help Bowser." And then he does the good guy thing where he goes, "All right, like all right, I guess." But I had it got my Mario fix for the year. It was great, recommended for all ages and everyone. Um, I'm sorry, I know I like jumped over from what I mentioned before. If you kind of played it on the Wii U already, uh, the Bowser's Fury, it's okay as its own game, but it's definitely more for the other one. I liked Bowser's Fury, but it's not. I'm probably gonna finish it, but it's not something that's like making me like, oh my gosh, like jump into it again. It's all right
Yeah.
as an addition. But for 3D World, if you've played it already on the Wii U, um, probably add it to complete your collection if you like, but you're not gonna get super much different. So they didn't add too much additional. It's like almost a direct port, minus some control changes. Um, but I loved it. Have you played? I know you don't play much Mario, but have you played this Mario game at least?
No, I've never played that specific
You haven't
one,
played this one.
but I was
Yeah.
very close on buying it just because I saw
Yes.
the marketing and I saw what they added was the super giant Bowser, but and especially since I
Yeah.
haven't played
Mhm.
the original one, but no,
Yeah.
I still haven't haven't touched that
Te la
game.
presto, dude. Te la presto, dude. I'll let you borrow it so you can try it.
You're too
You know
kind. You're
you
too kind.
you know you want to try the cat suit. You know you want to play
Oh my
cats. You want to
god.
play like con los gatitos, man. You know you want to play with the cat suit. Yeah, you do.
Uh,
Since
on
we
to
talked
the
about cat ears for Halo.
on to the next on to the next game up for discussion. Um, Something that's not too much of a cat game, but almost like a lichen game and a
Ooh.
vampire game.
Ooh.
Resident Evil 8 Village is
Yes.
on my spotlight for 2021, and damn, is it a return to form for Resident Evil? It was, I guess, the best mixture of everything that I want in a Resident Evil game in
Uh,
one. It had awesome villains or bosses, those characters, those over the top Saturday morning cartoon characters types. Um,
Excellent.
it had those type of memorable bosses. It had locations to each of those bosses that was
Mhm.
still memorable.
Yeah.
It had the scary parts of it, especially in the beginning portions of the
Mhm.
game where, you're very limited with what you have, and you're still trying to figure out the area, the location, and
Mhm.
you see the tall grass, and you're like, is that a werewolf? What the hell is that? What is that? And it was just such a great game that it had me hooked. Um, from beginning to end, and
Mm.
the I hated the mansion, the little home off the cliff. I don't even want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't played it because it's all these games are new pretty much,
Yep.
or new for a lot of players. But
Mm.
this game had horror for a horror
Mhm.
game. It had
Mhm.
action. It had customization. It brought back the merchant, or a merchant. A la Resident Evil 4. It just had so much good stuff to it that it had like the best mixture of all the Resident Evils that I like. Hey, let's
Nice.
take some from Resident Evil 7, the first
Mhm.
person horror aspects. Let's take some Resident Evil
Mhm.
4 and put the merchant in here, and
Mhm.
Resident Evil 5's campiness, and just all this mixed into one game. And
Mhm.
I loved Resident Evil 8. It's up there with some of my favorite Resident Evils, and I feel like Capcom is finally understanding what the fans want.
Nice.
They've been dabbling with Resident Evil 2
Mhm.
remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, trying to get back into it. I know they're gonna be doing a Resident Evil 4 remake soon, but
Yep.
Resident Evil 8 Village was a great. Like, I don't mind if the future Resident Evil games are like this, first
Nice.
person. This type of here's the castle, here's the swamp area, here's the machine factory area, here's this area. Like, I like that type of aspect of Resident
There you
Evil
go.
8. I wanted to spotlight that one. How did you get to play it yet, or see
I
anything?
I did play it, but I did play the both demos that were able to be downloaded.
Okay.
So everything you're talking about, Resident Evil 8, I played it on I got the demo for PC and the Xbox. I am going to buy it on the Xbox, but I'm getting me a physical disc. I'm not
Yes.
downloading this. I'm gonna buy. a physical copy of this because I just want to have it and hold it and put it in my sleeve again because I have too much digital and I see the advancement of digital, but no, I can't get it all digital. Like, come on, like, I need to put it on my shelf for goodness sake. I got a new place to put it on a shelf. Like, and something about a game is still from physical. I still have some of my old Super Nintendo games and everything. It just feels good to have and to hold, and it's just there, and I could just plug it. I know you still have to download patches and updates, and you still have to install games, even though you own it. But the disc is still the disc is still important. So I'm actually gonna make this a first Xbox Series X confirmed purchase because I know I did buy the South Park game, the Fractured Butthole.
I remember. I
But
was
that's
there.
not that was not considered like my first Xbox Series X game, like straight up. Um, but I did enjoy the demo and everything that you were talking about right on the money because when you play because you have a village demo and you have a castle demo.
Yeah.
So when I played the village demo, oh my god, it was exactly what you said. Like the immersion and the faces that you see and the things you're feeling for that town and the creepy aspects and the crafting and then that rustling in the bushes was nuts because I I know there's something there. But I'm all like, is I know there's something there, and I'm like, I'm not stupid. I know I heard something. There's no way. And then you walk into certain parts of the grass, nothing, nothing, nothing. And then I'm all like, werewolf. And then when they first take the gentleman into the house, because this is the very beginning in the demo game, but oh, when you see the turning and everything, it's nuts. It like yeah, Resident Evil is to form. Um, but I think I need to. I have digital versions of this, and I know it's on Game Pass as well. I need to complete seven, Resident Evil 7. Um, Now, gameplay from 7 and 8 are they similar, or does 8 like just go outside the box
They're
completely in
very
7?
they're very similar because
Okay, good,
they're
good.
first
That means I'm gonna
person.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That means I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, the first person aspect. That was the first time I experienced first person aspect for Resident Evil. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was like walking through everything and like looking through all the areas to open boxes, to open drawers, look for the demon crest, look for like seeing everything in the first person. I know it's been done before, but not for Resident Evil. Well, unless you count the Resident Evil Survivor game, the PlayStation one, but we don't talk about that game.
No.
That's no, that goes into Superman 64 territory. Like that's not a good game.
What's another one that you want to spotlight for the year?
So for 2021, another one that I actually did want to spotlight as well because everybody in the here knows I'm fans of re-releases of old stuff because I'm nostalgic with a lot of games and a lot of new came out. Didn't buy too much new like new ideas, but I definitely did enjoy Diablo 2 Resurrected that came out. That also came out this year. So from what I mentioned before, Diablo is my favorite role playing series of all time. Favorite of the Blizzard franchise, and it's the lore that I've had from one all the way till three and its expansions. But the Diablo 2 Resurrected, everything was fixed up. They kept the game mostly intact in its original form, but they did the same thing with like the Halo Collector's Edition, uh, which is where you have the ability to toggle new graphics and old graphics, which I
Yeah.
loved. That is so good when you get to see the differences, and maybe you really do want to play it how it was back then, or you want to just toggle to see which one's good, which one's bad. Like, um, well, obviously one looks way better, so one's definitely the good one. But you have all the returning classes, the same item systems, the same classes that you can pick, and besides some of the quality of life updates and the better online, it was actually a way to introduce a lot of people to this classic. So I'm definitely throwing it in as a top game that came out last year. Yeah, I can't call it last year. That came out last year in
Well, the
2021.
Resurrection came out last year.
Yeah,
The
the
remake.
Resurrected. Oh no, 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 like no. No, of course, this game came out in 2000. This game originally came out, but the Resurrected came out in 2021. So, um, that was another one that I loved from this year as well. I know you loved it as well. Still, Diablo 3 fans a little bit more, but Diablo 3 fan, yes, I know it's like some. You know what actually ended up happening too? You go back to a game and then you realize some of the good things that were in
Yeah.
Diablo 3 that they added. You're like, oh, maybe it was a little bit better on Diablo 3. You're like, and then I like reinstalled it again. Oh, anyone and then right now, anyone who's playing it, you'll still be able to in the first time. If you weren't if you weren't aware, if other fans weren't aware, if you play Diablo 3 right now, you actually can play a special campaign they do every January called The Darkening of Tristram, which is you basically complete the Diablo 1 dungeons, 1 through 16, um, redone in Diablo 3 graphics, but they have all the original like
Oh no, I didn't
characters.
know that.
Yeah, every year they only do it in January. So you get to face the original Diablo himself, like redone in today's graphics, but he's not gonna look like how he does in the end of Diablo 3. He looks like how he does look more in Diablo 1.
Why are
So
you telling me this, Jesse?
what?
I
Yes,
I'm trying to
yes,
finish
yes.
these
No,
games,
no,
and you're
no,
giving me
no.
a distraction.
Look. Hey, this only happens in January. This only happens in January. I'm telling you. I'm gonna do it again this time on PC. Like I've never done it
I'll
on
see if I
PC. I've never
re-download it
done
on
it.
Switch. I'll see if I
Okay?
re-download it on Switch, because
Yes, I'm telling
At
you,
least with
dude.
Switch I can play it on the go.
Yes, but like if because finding a copy of Diablo 1 is really hard right now. If you really wanted to play how the series started, you have to go through specific websites and it's not on Steam or battle.net from what I've seen. You have to go through like this site called GOG and like the controls are not like specified too much to like today's controls, but if you want to play Diablo 1, the adventure itself, but in Diablo 3 graphics. Now you'll still be able to use your Diablo 3 characters
Yeah.
and your Diablo 3 skills and everything. You're gonna have all that. Like they didn't change the skills or anything, but you get to go through each of the levels 1 through 16. And you can just go straight through it. Like it's not a super gigantic adventure, not compared like Diablo 3, the whole adventure itself.
Yeah.
Not a super long adventure, but you kind of get to see how the series started, and you face the original bosses from that game. So the original version of the Butcher, not the one you actually fight in the end, and you also face the Archbishop Lazarus, the Skeleton King, the original bosses from there. Now here's a tip too. If anyone's gonna do this or do it, if you want the real experience of like Diablo 1, make a new character and start them off from level 1. Like start off from there. Don't bring in your high level character already because you'll probably just breeze through it. Like you'll breeze through it no problem. But it's called The Darkening of Tristram. Google it or check it out. Because I just saw it um and it should be. Let me just double check that. But Big Josh, you want to give that a shot or what?
Yeah, I'll probably give it a shot on the Switch if it's
Yeah.
available on the Switch.
Yep. Look at that. The Darkening of Tristram returns 3/22, January 3rd, 2022. There it is. So, it has started. It has started already. So get to it, man. Play Dia. You can play Diablo 1 in Diablo 3.
I'll
I just
count
double
that.
checked for everyone.
I'll count
Yes.
that as a game completed then. If I finish Diablo, I'll say Diablo 1, 2022.
Yes. All right. As they used to say in other areas, I'll allow it.
Yes.
I'll allow it.
Um,
What's another game that you love from 2021, man?
This one is from a new developer, first game ever made for them. Kenya Bridge of Spirits. I played it
Mm.
on PS5.
You
Uh,
did talk about that one a lot. You did.
it was such a good game. Another single player story based game. Those are the ones that I love, and it was just so good, so charming, so unique. And it didn't seem like a first game. It didn't seem like it was their first game that they made. But only negative I can think of is sometimes the combat felt a bit unpolished. But overall, really good game. Um, it just had that story. It took me off guard because I didn't think it was gonna go that route for the story. Trying to keep it spoiler free.
Yeah.
Just what I went going into it. I didn't realize what I was gonna get into. I would say probably
Mm.
by the time I got to the first boss, which was about an hour and a half, and the story beats were just too good, too amazing. The cutscenes really well done. I got that Majora's Mask feeling throughout the game, which is a really good feeling. And also depending on whether you like that game or not, but I think I know you said that you love Majora's Mask.
Love Majora's Mask. One of my top Zelda games right there.
Yeah.
That's the jam.
It had that dark Majora's Mask tone,
Eh.
and it had also the childlike characteristics of other Zelda games. So it was a weird balance. It was good. The combat, it's more melee focused, but you also have like if I could put games put together into this, it's like Majora's Mask meets Pikmin.
Ooh.
If you ever played
Ah.
Pikmin, it meets Pikmin,
Wow.
meets just a bunch of other good games. Like in that sense, it's hard to describe it without trying to spoil it. So I won't spoil it. Just saying that the gameplay was a little bit wonky, but still good. Graphics great for a small developer team.
Mm.
The game took me, I want to say it took me like maybe uh, 10 to 12 hours to finish, which is very good for me because I tend to not finish games that are going past 20 hours as a JRPG fan. Weird.
I know,
But
right? I was gonna say, wait a minute. You're talking
yeah,
about JRPGs. That's a long. Those games are longer.
just because those I need to have a really good JRPG to enjoy it.
Mhm.
Like the story has to catch me, Um,
Okay.
but this one was really good. I was very surprised on getting it. I got it like maybe an hour before it released. I pre-ordered it like an hour before it released just because I was like, wait, this game comes out, and I took a couple videos that I saw, and I was like, yeah, this seems like right about my alley. I'll check it out, and I'm glad that I did because it was that
Nice.
good. I highly recommend it for anybody. I know it's on PlayStation and PC right now, and I believe it should be coming on Xbox this year. But definitely when it releases, I strongly recommend this game to anybody.
Nice. I've not personally played this one, so I don't have a lot to say on it, but I know you have tweeted a lot about it and you've talked about it.
Yeah,
So it's a top. It's definitely a top one for you right there. That's I believe that.
yeah. What's another one that you
All
want
right.
to spotlight?
All right, another one that I definitely wanted to spotlight, and I know you mentioned I'm gonna go retro again, but at the same time, I'm gonna say it's my game of the year. It's like the one I like the most a lot because not only did it harken back to my retro years, but it also harkened back to meeting my needs as the game for that game of the year, and that's uh, Quake. And I know that's an old game, 90. It came out of the 90s, but again, I'm a sucker for anything 90s that I've played back then. But the quality of life that they did for this game was stupendous. It was amazing. Like when this came out, everyone can play and enjoy this game now with the stuff that they added. Um, Came out on PC, but it also came out on Switch, and it also came out on Xbox. It's on Game Pass because it is a Bethesda game as well.
Hmm.
So,
Now,
but Quake now,
well, Bethesda, Xbox,
yeah,
yeah.
Bethesda, it's Bethesda and Xbox. I mean, most Bethesda games are going to come out on Game Pass as well. So how I used to play the game, I played this game before, but this year they re-released it again. I got it as a good thing. I got it as a patch that actually updated the game to this version, so I didn't have to buy it again. That was good. They didn't force me to buy it again. I had the original one. The original one, you have to set up everything on your PC to be right. It's because it's an older game, but when you try to make it work for your newest PC. It's also a reason why another first-person shooter game I can't really play too well is this game called Hexen, because I still have to use the arrow keys. I can't use the WASD like how I want to, unless someone tells me how to patch it or something. I don't know. But the quality of life that they added for Quake, it is a straight. All the levels are amazing. All the creatures are still amazing. They're all redone to look a lot smoother and a lot better. It's more lit up. It includes the music in the game. Finally, it with because yeah, like dude, and all the music was done from Nine Inch Nails. Trent Reznor. He did all the music for this game, and it's actually like right included. All the expansion packs are included. Mouse looking is now a regular thing. What you used to have to do if you wanted to mouse look, you had to hold a button and then you're able to look around. Now you can play it like a current shooter, and the mouse look actually works. And that makes a huge difference. It makes a big difference. And I'm gonna say the best invention ever for first person shooters is the darn weapon wheel, which is when you
You
select
said that
weapons.
before, yeah.
Yeah, I said that before, and I'm still gonna say it every single day. It is the greatest first person shooter invention ever to select weapons. It is the best method. Well, obviously, besides having them on the individual numbers, you can actually tap the number and yeah, that weapon comes out. Sure, you can do it that way, but the weapon wheel that got added, oh my goodness, it just made Quake enjoyable again. I replayed the original campaign on the hardest difficulty again with the expansions as well. It includes all the expansions, and it included Quake 64, a version of it. It had a mod where you could play Quake 64 because it was different from Quake original. They got the colors from Quake 64 and like the designs and everything. They even added a little scan line so it looked like you're playing it from your TV. Like they did all these little things, and this is a true like recreation of a favorite like for all time. And um, the way that they did everything was amazing. I just want to double check one thing real quick on Quake. And I remember I was telling you to try it and everything too. And um, yeah, Quake is just the shooter of shooters. It is something that everyone should be playing. I just want to be sure I have the developer correct. Yes. Okay. So I do got the developer correct. So the team that helped, of course, Bethesda came up with this game, but Night Dive Studios, they are amazing at bringing back classics into today's world. I love that studio. They re-brought back um, some of the original Doom games. They have brought back Turok on PC. Yeah, they did. Yes, they did.
You know how
They
much I
brought.
love Turok.
Yes, they are the ones. They are the ones that architect that helped bring it to the Switch as well. So Night Dive Studios is king at bringing stuff back, and I love that company. They are bringing back so many retro titles, and the and I can't wait to see what they bring back next. I want this company to flourish and keep doing what they're doing because they are amazing. They, again, Turok 2 and Turok Quake, they brought that back. Classic Doom games like Doom 64, they brought that back, but with their own touches and what they've done. It's Oh my God, Night Dive Studios. Yes, I know it sounds like I know it sounds more like Night Dive Studios is like my winner, but it's not. It's their game of Quake that they brought back into the most beautiful version of it that everyone can play this.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, the way you talk about it, man, it's like
Yeah, man,
very
this game is
passionate. And
huge.
I know you love first person shooters, so I'm not even surprised that this is your number one game for the year.
Yes. And right now I'm playing. I think I said that already. My games I'm playing, but Blood is also an amazing game. I would say for anyone who loves PC games, these retro shooters, man, I'm telling you, they will like they seem old school and everything, but they're classics for their own reason. But yes, I agree. It is the style that I like. One of the styles I love the most for reasons
Yeah.
for a reason. Preferences.
Um, not even surprised about that, to be honest, but in a good way. I know pretty much what floats your boat for gaming and what your favorite genre is. But um, one of my final games that I wanted to mention that did catch me off guard, that did surprise me, and I have nonstop talked about this since I played it, which is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, you have. I got
Go-
into the soundtrack because of you.
Yes, the soundtrack again. Another one of those games that it's a single player focused game, but I didn't have this game in my eyesight. I didn't have this in my sight for games to play, and I really just threw it off as like this looks super boring. Why would I want to just play as Star Lord and not the entire cast of Guardians of the Galaxy? But
Yeah.
I started hearing too many good things to ignore it. I picked up the Cosmic Deluxe Edition just because the box art alone and the steelbook. I'm a sucker for steelbook cases. Picked it up, and I just could not put it down. That game
Nice.
was too good. Soundtrack, which I've talked to death about, of how good it is, and I still talk about it. I still listen to it today. Um, the characters, they stand on their own. I was so worried that I was just gonna compare them to the film adaptations, but they stand on their own. I love the characters that they put up for this you know game, and uh, level design was really good. Again, the combat, uh, depending on the person, for me, I wasn't really that much bored of it. There was some. It was a bit buggy. I got into a couple glitches and stuff like that where my character would just fall off, but they've patched that over, I believe. But that game was just so good. The unique story that they told in this one. I love Star Lord. I love Rocket, and humanizing other characters that normally are like cold hearted and stuff like that gave them depth to it. Um, it was just super good. Graphics was amazing. I didn't even notice that it was 1080p until I saw the video from Digital Foundry that it was 1080p 60 frames per second. But for me, I played it throughout that time because I prefer the frame rate over the resolution. But it was super good. It was my surprise game, and honestly, I feel like if it wasn't for Halo Infinite coming out this year, it would have been Guardians of the Galaxy, just because of
Ooh.
how good that game was. And yeah, I don't think that. I mean, I'm pretty sure there'll be a sequel, but it's one of those games where if it never gets a sequel, I wouldn't mind it because it's okay. It was that good.
Good as is. Like it's perfect.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
But they aren't gonna release a sequel. I think they will. They probably
Yeah,
will.
yeah. I mean, it sold pretty well. It sold pretty well, and they got a lot of good reviews. So I wouldn't doubt it if they made another one. but
Show.
I highly recommend you try it. And anybody else who's mildly interested, try it out because it surprised me. It was that good.
Physical copy, baby.
Yeah,
Physical
physical
copy,
copy.
baby. Yeah, yeah. I will attempt to get a physical copy of that as well.
You got any other ones that you wanted to mention before we wrap up the show?
Uh, for 2021, not too much more beyond that. I think I pretty much covered my main games. I think just the last one that I will just throw in there because I did try it out just a little bit. Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah,
Definitely. For the beauty, it was my first game, my first big gigantic game I downloaded for Xbox Series X. So I was really happy with it for what I had, but it's just not my main particular style of game that I like open world racing. For the open world racing fans, great. Like, get it. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. It's on Game Pass. It's like nothing like wrong fundamentally with the game or anything. It's gorgeous to see. Just not something that I play super often, or not something that's gonna hold me for a while. But for any gearheads, any car people, anyone who loves it, oh yeah, get it. Until Gran Turismo officially comes out for PlayStation at some point, the newest one will
yeah.
come out. But yeah, that'd be the other game I would think about from 2021 that kind of holds a candle or put candle to me.
Okay. Yeah. Last one before we sign off on this one. I just wanted to do a shout out for this rare Mario game that I actually do like. That came out
What?
in
What?
2021.
What? What? Wait! Whoa! Whoa! Oh, I gotta hear this. Here,
Okay, just by thinking about it, and also because of the previous episode, talking about it with my now wife. By the time you guys hear this,
yeah,
uh,
Mrs. Quack.
Mrs. Quack,
Mrs. Quack.
uh, I probably don't even know the full name, but the Super Mario Party that came out in 2021, just because
Mario Party Superstars.
yeah, just because we've been playing it almost every week. We play with with my sister in law and her boyfriend, and we've been playing that at least once a week. And my wife has even she made a star, one of those Super Mario stars, and she put it together, and it's like a
Ooh.
trophy, and it says like this week's winner, and it has my name on there. I'm like, yeah, that's right, I'm the winner of Mario Party. And I just want to say that, you know what, it's probably one of my favorite games this year, just because it's brought us together again competitively, and just
Nice.
being that, that type of game. So I kind of wanted to, give credit where credit's due, and Mario Party is still that king of Mario of party games, and the king of breaking up families and friends.
Yes. If you steal a star, you're evil. You've done the most
Oh,
evil
we've done
thing.
that all the time, dude.
Oh, if you
Uh,
if you hired Boo to steal a star for you, you're just evil. And
everyone's hired here in this
and,
house.
and, and I know, unfortunately, everyone has dabbled with Boo, and then everyone has also been a victim of like the star switching blocks and everything. It was like, yeah, like you get like the guttural yells from that, and at least from when I remember when I was a kid, because I haven't played this one, my destroyed hands from rotating old Nintendo 64
Yes.
joysticks of those mini games, and then they had to put a warning for kids and everyone saying, "Don't do it like this," to not ruin your hand. But that was the only way to do it. That was the only way to get it the fastest. Um, yeah, Mario Party is still up there, along with Mario Kart would be like
Yes.
another party game, another Mario game that everyone usually likes. Oh, and then speaking of Mario Kart, they're coming up with like a new thing for Mario Kart, quote
Yeah.
unquote. They're saying like new
Rumored.
advancements and open world something Mario Kart, and then after I heard that, I'm like, like they've already done that. They've done that already. So it's not new. It's not new, Mario. Diddy Kong did it already.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing. If they come up with open world and collecting stars, they'll be like, no, you
Diddy
didn't come
Kong
up with
did
this.
it. Diddy Kong did it.
Diddy Kong did it. Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy
Did it.
Kong Racing.
That's I still prefer it over Mario Kart. I know that's blasphemous to say. I do. I like Diddy Kong Racing over Mario Kart straight up. Just saying.
And with that is our final segment of the show. You know it very well when you hear that that growl, that boss growl. It's time for the boss pick of the week. This week, since we got Jesse back, let's give it to Jesse. Jesse, what's your boss pick of the week?
All right. So, just like I said before, I've been on a run of completing games. So, I got some fresh people still thinking in my mind about the bosses. So, as a man or a creature, excuse me, probably was a man before, but as a creature who sometimes, for some people, need little introduction or not much introduction, as a creature wholeheartedly himself, I am going with the Nemesis.
Resident Evil 3.
Nemesis. Resident Evil 3. He is the namesake of Resident Evil 3, the original, because it's in the title. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. There's no surprise that he's probably going to be the last guy, or he's going to be an important character. And I just finished playing the remake, and Nemesis in the remake is awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so right now I'm kind of considering this still a newer game for anyone who has not played Resident Evil 3 yet, or period. So this is just kind of a heads up, jumping into a bit of spoiler territory, because this game did come out 2020, so it's still sort of fresh within that 5-year gap. So I'm just throwing it out here right now. If you don't want me to ruin Resident Evil 3 Remake for you, we love you. Thank you for enjoying the show. Chill for right now. Up to you. 3, a 2, a 1, a go. So,
Stars.
Stars. so, Resident Evil 3 Remake. A lot of people were, because they played Resident Evil 2 Remake before, with the Mr. X character, who was very following you, very doing everything. They wanted Nemesis to be the revamped Mr. X. They wanted to be a bigger version of him. Doesn't happen as often in this one. He's kind of more like set pieces of the game instead of like following you the whole way through. It still works as a scare and everything. And his boss battles in this entire game were just fantastic. First one, very small mention, of course, with the flamethrower, which aims right at your face. Like when you're coming at you.
I like that one.
So that comes out from that one, but his transformations this time are a lot more epic than they were in the last game, than the original, pardon me. So he does have one where it's the clock tower battle, which is when you first face him in the 4-legged version. He's getting huger now, and most of his costume's burning off, and he's continuously mutating. But the version I'm going to talk about is the one that you fight in the end with in the sewer area where everything's being dumped down, and you're fighting him in a cylindrical area, and Nemesis is just a huge, gigantic, imposing creature. He always was, but when you're fighting him in his 4-legged format, my goodness, does he get scarier. And when he bites you, you look like you're already dead when he actually gets you in his jaws, because he gets you and he goes like he's going all over your chest. Like, in my head, I'm like, how are you not dead? Like, already? Like, because he tosses you aside. Of course, when he does the final times, he does kill you, but it's just so epic. You're fighting him with all your grenade rounds and your shotgun rounds, and You get Carlos, our shaggy-haired hero, who helps you throughout the whole thing, giving you calls at the same time. But the battle just goes epic and more epic. And now zombies are coming in to attack you at the same time because they're also coming through the grates. So thank goodness they don't send hunters down there with you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how do I forget this? I'm done. Like, no way. Like, impossible. Um, and then the final battle with the Nemesis. In the original, he's still like an amorphous blob, like where he's like still blobby. He's growing, but he's not as big. And in the remake, he looks huge. He's mutating like beyond belief. And you get to shoot him with a gigantic railgun, which feels so good when you do it.
Yeah.
And it's this creature that has always been haunting you this entire game, and it just feels so amazing to complete it. And the way they redesigned his look compared from the original just worked. It everything just ended up working. Capcom did a fantastic job with both remakes. I know the remakes were kind of pumped out faster than people expected. Maybe that's why it's a little similar to Resident Evil 2 remake. Everyone loved, but I guess people wanted more. But at least for the game itself, for me, I loved it. I think they did Nemesis justice. And Nemesis has also been an icon in the Resident Evil series since his game release. He was in Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate. He's a playable character there, and you know his classic line every day, stars. Like he always comes after the stars members and tentacles, and you always remember him as the first creature with a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Remember, buddy? You had a rocket launcher to kill tyrants. This tyrant now has a rocket launcher to go on you. What are you gonna do now? But I just completed the game. I loved the game. It ended up being way better than I expected. I completed it on PC, and it just worked perfectly, man. I know you played this game as well. What'd you think of the Nemesis the whole time?
I love the Nemesis, and I specifically I love two of the specific battles that you mentioned. I love the first one where you're in the top of the concrete building, the construction site, and I liked it because it was a closed, confined space, so you didn't really have much room to play with. So your shots still, I mean, they always matter, but trying to shoot the gas canisters that are near him, or shoot the flamethrower that he has, stuff like that. I really love that boss encounter, but also I just love the huge ass weapon that Jill has, the railgun, the two-handed railgun that it's heavy as hell. It's like twice her size, and I kind of don't even want to think of like how can she hold that. No, I just saw that. It looked like a badass scene, and she's just like she says something like, go to hell or something, some cliche, some campy line, and I just loved it for it. And just that charge up, and she finally shoots him with the.
I know what she says.
What does she say?
I know what she says. She says like, "Next time, take the hint."
Something like that, right?
Yeah, like next time, like take the hint. I'm not gonna say the other word because kids, but it says that word like it's next time take the bleeping hint. Like it says it
like basically oozes him. She makes him into ooze, and I love both of those encounters with Nemesis. So I think that's an awesome pick for your first pick of the year.
Not only oozing, but I think it had holes in the back of them too. Like I think it had like burned holes like through the doors. I was like, whoa. Now why couldn't I have this gun from the beginning of the game? I don't know. Like imagine like I wish. But prototype railgun. And it was to me it was better than the original one, where the original one had a stationary gun.
Yeah.
You had to lure the Nemesis there. You had to get him in the rate of fire. It wasn't like you hold a big gun. Like it was more like, oh, it has to fire right when the Nemesis is like there. but I did like the ending just a little bit better on the original when she would actually come up to him with the magnum to finish it off. I did like that. That
Yeah,
I do like that little touch from the original a little bit better, but railgun to the face is still good too. It ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah. Well, there it is. There you guys have it. Our first episode together, 2022.
Yes, it feels so good to do it again.
Many more to come. I miss you, man. Like I said
Uh,
before we started recording, it was a month pretty much since we last recorded and saw each other through the camera. But I'm glad to hear and see that you're doing better. I wish you
Thank
the
you.
very best on a faster recovery. Um,
Yes.
and
Stay safe, everybody. I'm telling you, it's stay as best as you can. Take care of your health as best as you can. And again, very thankful for everyone's yourself and everyone on Twitter and everyone's kind words. It's been awesome to recover, and I'm looking forward to a fantastic 2022.
yeah. Again, comment section or you can add us on Twitter. Uh,
Mhm.
Let us know what your favorite games were. It doesn't have to be like a list, like a top 10 or top 5. Just let us know what was the game
Yep.
that surprised you, or that made your year for 2021, for
Hmm.
whatever 2021 was,
Yeah.
of a year. Just keep us updated on that. And again,
Yeah.
nice to see you again, Jesse. Where can they reach you if they want to do that?
Uh, They could reach me at Jesse underscore Fragoso on Twitter, JESSIE underscore FRAGOSO. It's my name, it's my Twitter handle. And on Instagram, it's same, JESSIE dot Fragoso on Instagram. On both of them, on both of those handles. And in everything gaming, Steam, Nintendo, Xbox, I am always Jebby G. That's in all my handles. I've made sure that all the handles are that. So, a similar handle throughout all the gaming space. That's just what I'm known by.
There you go, and you guys can find me everywhere, literally, as mcquack306. And yeah, that's episode 24, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Good to see you, Big Josh McQuack, and everyone have a fantastic afternoon, day, or evening, whatever time it is. Love y'all. Have a good one.
Later, you guys.